Hi everyone, welcome to my review of Rob Reiner's Stand By Me from 1986. So yes, back again here. A very special film to discuss today, and here it is. Blu-ray Steelbook. Yeah, it's really great. Steelbook there. There's the back, and yes, I've been wanting to talk about this, well, since I started my channel. It's just one of them films, of course. But yes, there will be spoilers. We'll say that now. If you've not seen this film, I would not want to ruin this, for first-time watchers. So yes, if you haven't seen this, maybe just watch the film first and then come back to this. And you can rest assured that nothing will be spoiled for you. And then, if you want, we can go from there. The option to discuss this in the comments. So yes, with that said, here we are. Wow, of course, it's that time of year again as well that I kind of 2 weeks or so in August every year. It's kind of I take time off and everything, and yeah, it's usually an event where I just my film watching at least experiences, mostly rewatches of my favourites. It could be top 500, top 50, top 10, and there's been a few in my top 20 actually this time around again. So yes, just a variety of my favourites. There's been a few, of course, first time watches. Just a few this kind of holiday period, but most of it once again, it's something I take pride in. I just I try to watch rewatches, of course, and make that kind of the priority. And once again, of course, yes, here it is, of course, Stand By Me, and we have, of course, one of my favourites. That's kind of already given away in that. But yes, I also received a request by the YouTuber, the Clagger, and he's a great friend. I've been talking with him for some time now, and he has a great channel, and he requested this film among other films, of course, as well. And yes. If you're interested in his channel, it's covers, of course, mainly, and just a great channel. He also done top 10 albums very recently. It's of course all music related, and it's just such. He is so talented and just so passionate, about what he does, and it's a really great, kind of channel. And if you're interested, of course, in all this kind of stuff, check it out. I'll leave it in the description, and you can kind of just click on it from there. But just such a great channel, I must say, and also just the comments that I've received from the Clagger, just from this guy, really, it's just such great conversations that we've had, and just very supportive. So I'm very grateful, and yes, that's another reason why I'm reviewing this as well. But yes, Stand By Me. What can I say about this film? It's one of them films. It's one of my, I'll say it now, easily one of my top 100. It's kind of one of them the defining films, and just one that it kind of. I saw this when I was 12 actually, for the first time. So actually interesting, the kind of the same age, as our protagonist for the majority of the film, or it's a kind of a extended flashback. Of course, Gordy, or the writer, played, of course, in the bookends of the film. We have at the beginning and the end, of course, Richard Dreyfuss, who is just one of my favourite actors of all time, and once again, bringing the magic, the warmth and the charm, and the emotion as well, this time to this character, and it's just so perfect. That kind of opening and the ending is just unbelievable. We see him. He looks back. He sees this. His friend, as we know, Chris Chambers, has just died, and he looks back then to his childhood. Specifically, of course, this time with 1959. He looks back to, and of course, the bookends is the setting being in the time being 1985. But yes, he looks back, and we see the most of the film is this journey that these four friends take, and of course to actually find this body. It's rumored, of course, this body is at a certain location, and of course they essentially want to claim this body and become heroes, and be in the papers and everything like this. And yes, that is the main plot. Setting 1959. We have this coming of age tale, of course, and yes, we have so much more than that, though, I feel, and it's very interesting, of course. This is, once again, yes, another Stephen King adaptation from his novella from 1982, known as The Body, and yes, Rob Reiner directs this film. I've only seen strangely, I've only seen another Rob Reiner film, which is Misery. I've not seen any of his other works aside from Misery, and yes, just I want to see them, of course. The Princess Bride, etc. But weirdly, I've never got around to them. But yes, Stand By Me. This is such a stunning film, so special, of course, to many people. We must of course say, it's a very loved film. Of course, IMDb, etc. And just most people, do regard this very, very highly. Because the film just means so much. So nostalgic, and so powerful, in its messages, and just the way in which it captures, this coming of age tale. But yes, of course, Will Wheaton playing Gordy LaChance, and we have River Phoenix, the one and only River Phoenix, playing Chris Chambers, and he's essentially the leader, you could say, of these four main characters here, and of course he is, for me, I think, if anyone was wondering, I think River Phoenix gives the best performance in this film, and it's just perfect casting all round. But I think this is maybe the standout if there was one. But again, it's an ensemble. Every performance is great in this. Of course, we have Vern as well, played by Jerry O'Connell. You have Corey Feldman playing Teddy Duchamp, and all four of these main characters here, just perfect casting. You could say it's just meant to be. These actors, really are these characters throughout the film, and it's just remarkable. Really, really is. Of course, down to the direction, of course, by Rob Reiner. But you have as well Kiefer Sutherland as Ace, and he is essentially the villain of the film. You also have Eyeball Chambers, who is the older brother of Chris in the film, and yes, treats him very badly throughout the film. But we also have Gordy, just having lost his brother, his older brother, and played by John Cusack, as we see these kind of slight moments in the film, a couple of scenes, and that's so powerful, which we'll get to, the kind of Fred, and the whole arc of that, just this relationship, brother relationship in the film. But we have, yes, these main characters, four main characters, journeying, of course, to find this body, and we have, of course, the setting being, it's in the summertime. Most of the film, really, until around the hour mark, it's just full on, the sun shining. It's just kind of this dreamy effect it has, this warm feeling to the cinematography, of course, as well. The colours, just the way in which the camera moves, and just these epic shots, wonderful shots, capturing, of course, nature, and just the great outdoors. It really is quite something. Yes, when I first saw this film, I was just blown away. I was brought to tears, and just, I think every time, I've not seen this. It's not a film that I've seen, for example, more than 30 times or 50 times. Actually, it's not one of my most watched films. In that sense. But I think, it's a film that I've seen more than 10. But whenever I see this film, it's kind of, I've left it enough time, and every single time I've seen this, it's just grown on me. It's taken on more of an enhanced form, perhaps, and every time I see this, these nostalgic feelings, this capturing of childhood, friendship, of course, loyalty, just chasing your dreams as well. It's one of the themes, the core themes, I feel, in this film. But every single one of these themes, these emotions, these moments, just captured so wonderfully. I think they are more and more powerful, and actually, I saw this the other week, of course, as part of this kind of event, as I've said, that I do every year, really. It's been actually 2 years, over 2 years since I actually last saw this film, but once again, this has just taken on another level of just what this film means to me. It really is such a powerful film, this, and of course, really, this is not just a coming-of-age film, in a specific way of, what films usually are, but it really is, in the grand scheme of things, I think just the passage of time, and, I think legacy, and it has quite a few stages of life in this, and it just encapsulates this in such a way, very close to being 80 minutes, just a little over 80 minutes of actual, film here, discarding the credits perhaps, but we have so much in this. This is such an epic film in scope, but it's so personal. It's such a a personal film. Just the way in which the writer, our protagonist, is essentially using his memories, his past, his life experiences, as an actual story. As we learn in the end, that is the story he's been writing, on this occasion, and taking these actual events from his childhood and looking back, on this, and actually using this, in his story, his writing, and that is so wonderful. And storytelling is a big thing as well about this film. The way in which Gordy, wants to be a writer, of course, as we know he eventually does. But the way in which his parents, don't really accept this. They don't pay attention to this, this passion he has, this talent he has. And it's just so powerful. I think a very inspiring, this film, in that sense as well. We have Gordy, as we know, yes, being able to tell stories really so well, of course, and his parents aren't like kind of accepting of this. They're not paying attention to this, but of course his brother, Denny, played by John Cusack, it's just such a wonderful moment, especially when we see him, in this flashback, and he's basically the only one, seems to be encouraging him, at least in the family, encouraging Gordy, to chase his dreams, and to actually become a writer, and to keep at this, despite what everyone else maybe criticizing him, or just knocking him back, or not encouraging him. We have his brother, this figure he looks up to, of course, Denny, inspiring him, and just encouragement is one of the core things as well to this film. Of course, Chris Chambers is the only other one in the film who actually encourages Gordy to actually to be like this, to be someone who chases their dreams, not to give up, to stick out this, and in the end we have that wonderful moment where actually the realization, just before, of course, the epilogue in that sense, we have the last moments, Chris and Gordy, we have that conversation, and then in the end, it seems like Gordy has finally, kind of become this, in this state of he is going to be able to do anything he wants, and that really is such an inspirational kind of message, in this film, or theme, and it's explored so sincerely, so powerfully, but very subtly at times, and I think just it ties into all the different lessons, Gordy learns over the course of the film, not just through these moments of dialogue, but just this whole journey, it's not just, of course, these four characters journeying to find this body, and to kind of become heroes in that sense. It's more than that. It's a real spiritual journey, a life journey here, and all encapsulated into this. As I say, very short film, but we have such a scope to this, and it really is one of in the end, one of the kind of the highest, for me, works of art in cinema. It's one of the masterpieces, in the history of the medium, and so meaningful, so funny as well. We have these characters. I love how these characters are so relatable. Everyone can really relate to this. It seems, just these characters, at this moment of time, because it's such a kind of sincere and honest, as we know, kind of portrayal of this kind of this part of of childhood, of growing up, of course, and just to see this, to see the performances, to see the kind of the script, such a genius piece of writing here, I feel, and just all of these story beats, but these characters, and how natural and organic they are, quite striking, really, and I feel just as well the score by Jack Nisha, is so marvelous. Of course, this is based off of the novella, of course, The Body, but the actual title is taken, of course, from the Ben E. King song from 1961, Stand By Me, and of course we have this kind of this song integrated into the score. Jack Nish, kind of using this to kind of create this wonderful version of this that kind of permeates most of the actual score to the film. And it just it's so emotional in the way it's done, and I feel just there's a way in which the score just it puts me in this mood, this state of nostalgic feeling, and just looking back, and also just very melancholy. This kind of this score, obviously as well, different parts in the score that are kind of jolly, joyous, but it's more. It really is, it's quite a sad film, but it's more melancholy. Very very soulful film. This, but of course, in the end, it just what it kind of encapsulates is this inspirational narrative, this message in the end, of course, and that you can do anything really, if you want to, and if you stay to this, stay true to yourself and to your passion, of course, and in the end, that final moment. When Richard Dreyfuss, or of course the writer, or Gordy, kind of, shuts off the computer, and of course he has a family of his own at this point, and he goes outside, and we see him taking his family somewhere there on a trip. We have the song "Stand by Me" actually playing, and the credits appearing. That is one of the most just emotional moments, endings in the history of cinema for me, and the way it brings it all together, and it culminates in such a way. Of course, the look of Richard Dreyfuss here is absolutely perfect. It really is something else. Just around a few minutes he's in the film, but it just feels so in tune to the character of Gordy, what he would be like, what he would maybe become, and of course just capturing the soul of this character and this narrative, and the whole, just the look, the last glances, of course. He does it all just without saying anything. He just a master actor here, and of course the final moments there just once again brought me to tears. It's such an emotional, impacting ending, and this entire experience is so magical, so warm, and so powerful. It really, really is one of the best films I've ever seen, and as I say, every single time, this is just, it's taking on a more enhanced, complete, in that sense, form, and just one of my absolute favourites, really. This will never leave my top 100. That's the thing there. That's a definite. This will always be in my top 100 films of all time. It's just such a wonderful film. It means so much to me. And of course, as we know, so many people. It'd be great to know what you think of this. In the comments, maybe your experiences with this film. But just seeing once again the kind of joy, the kind of silliness as well. Of childhood. These characters, of course. And it's all about kind of rumors, expectations as well. We hear these different kind of rumors, these stories about how this body, what has happened to this body. There is a sense of wonder, which is perfectly kind of set up and just kind of sustained throughout the rest of the film until the final moments, of course. And even then, it doesn't. We actually see, of course, this body, Ray Brower, seeing this body, of course, there is a sense of subtlety there as well, and it's of course once these characters eventually find this body, we have this kind of realization that this isn't quite how they envisioned this, and that can speak to many moments when growing up, expectations, and just the way in which things can kind of turn out, in a very, very different way to what we would expect. These characters are very excited, of course, very excited at first to find this body, and this sense of just, the thrill of it, and just going out and kind of this whole kind of fantastical image they have of finding this body, and just becoming heroes, in that sense. But when it actually happens, of course, it's very, very morbid, very disturbing, of course, and something that the characters are very shocked by seeing this, and that's of course so honest in the way that's done, and just such a kind of an irony to this, and something we can all kind of relate to. The way in which we view things, or we expect things when we're younger, and it maybe not as it seems when it kind of pans out in that sense. And from this we have these kind of lessons from this experience that they kind of go through, and as well just seeing the friendship of these characters, these four core characters here, and seeing this relatable, natural dialogue. Of course, the humour. It's such a charming film, and also just very, very an emotional film. We see so much character development for these characters. Again, very, very short film, but so perfectly done here. In the writing department, and these performances. Just capturing these. Just living and breathing these characters. I feel. But of course, we also have the perfect kind of villain. In that sense of the film as well, and of course. Ace being a character, of course, played by Kiefer Sutherland, as we know, being a character who, with his, kind of his group as well, kind of on the case of, going to find this body, and yes, we have this kind of happening, back and forth, if you will, the kind of the editing to kind of, show both kind of narratives here of these different groups, these two groups of characters, and of course, in the end, they kind of meet up in that final act, and of course one of the most just epic moments really in a film as well, where Gordy, of course, stands up in that sense to Ace, and it's something that is so inspiring. This kind of this arc for Gordy, and the way he kind of in the end he just he stands up to our villain, and of course in the sense as well, that they kind of they also, these four characters decide as well to kind of do the right thing in that sense, and kind of just not maybe take the credit for finding this body, and to do the decent thing in that sense, and yes, the whole way in which we have these life lessons throughout the film. It's so meaningful, so wonderful. Of course, we have this perfect narrative structure as well. The kind of perfect, enticing setup. We have the kind of seeing the town as well, Castle Rock. This wonderful, kind of peaceful location, of course, and it's just so authentic. This, and just so warm to see this, and so yes, kind of very idyllic, of course. But this very, very small town, but these characters, of course, over the course of the film, when they go back, to Castle Rock, they kind of, it seems like the world is so much bigger, in comparison, and just this town, Castle Rock, appears very, very insignificant in that sense, very, very small, and that is, of course, part of the narrative progression as well, part of the journey, the actual. Progression here, and it's so wonderful as well, and so powerful. This I feel, and I can kind of speak to many different things as well. When you're younger, you kind of everything seems your kind of your hometown maybe seems like it's the center of the world, and then of course when you go off and you do things, or you kind of grow up, you kind of you kind of view this very differently, and that's very, very true as well. But you have this wonderful narrative, the structure of the film. We have these moments, these epic events. Of course, the train being one of the most famous kind of sequences in cinema, and the way they filmed that was just so genius, and just these tense moments, these dramatic moments, but kind of organically brought out through relatable, just honest, sincere, patient. Filmmaking, portraying, different, aspects of growing up, of being, a child, of course, and just, these moments, these big, kind of events, for example, these, kind of these tense moments, they don't feel like they're out of place in that sense. That's what I'm saying. Very just organic and natural, and it feels part of this whole narrative, this whole kind of authentic experience. That's what this film is. It's an experience. It really, really is, and just seeing these moments as well. The kind of the swamp and the leeches. All these different moments, of course. As well, the campfire moment there, and we have this film within a film as well. So genius. That whole kind of a comedy sequence there. It's kind of a film within a film, and of course we have Gordy kind of telling his friends this, and it's just such a kind of a genius moment of storytelling. I feel in the narration, of course, and the way in which it's kind of edited here is very very unique as well, and just seeing this kind of story and actually a taste of what's to come, perhaps, and just the kind of talent of of Gordy, in telling stories, and I love the way in which this film kind of links all these kind of aspects, elements together, in such a way that in the end, of course, the writer, Gordy, has actually essentially told this entire film. The film, the whole kind of feeling of this is all kind of pivotal, to this character, our protagonist, of course, and it's so complete in that sense. We have this, him telling the story, and it literally feels like he is, telling this, and the whole film is part of, his memory, and it doesn't feel kind of detached, or disjointed at all, or separate. This doesn't feel the beginning, the middle, the end, of course, and the epilogue doesn't feel like it's kind of disjointed or separate in that sense. It feels all as one, as one complete and just all-encompassing experience, and I think just it really is a testament to the direction, of course, to the performances, the way in which this is edited, and just the actual, I feel, the commitment, the passion, and just the kind of drive to get this project made in this way, of course, and just bringing out this kind of short story, of course, this novella, of course, by Stephen King, and just making it one of the most kind of epic and memorable kind of films, and one of the most complete films in the history of cinema. Absolutely stunning, this one, and just everything about this film, just of course, not just the score, but the actual songs being used, Lollipop, and Great Balls of Fire, such songs in the film, and just so many great songs, joyous, kind of whimsical songs. Of course, being 50 songs, I love my 50s and 60s, kind of songs, and just music, and yes, the 60s is my favourite decade for just songs in general, and yes, of course, the Stand By Me song as well being played, in the ending scene. It's kind of such a kind of all-encompassing experience musically, as well as a time capsule. This film, and the music is a big part of this film. It's part of the DNA of this film, and it all just works in harmony. Here, the score, of course, encompassing the actual sound, of course, of of this the title song, but just all these different songs as well, and the characters' reactions as well, and just to this music, real wonderful comment, on a different time, and the way in which this this period drama, in a sense, is brought to the screen, is so magical, I feel, and so enjoyable, so joyous, just such a wonderful experience, wonderful time capsule, and a wonderful, not just for this, but for every life, just everyone can relate to this film. It seems, or most people can, because of course it's saying something, about childhood, growing up, and in that sense as well, it encompasses many different stages, of life, and I think just in the end, it kind of portrays in kind of fleeting moments, perhaps, very short film, it kind of brings together, and kind of tells the passage of time, and we have these themes of legacy, loyalty as well, the friends, of course, but the very tragic element of this film, the story is, of course, Vern, and Teddy, ones that kind of we learn they drift away. Or they drifted away, of course, and we kind of see them. They see them go off, and of course, we hear this narration, and we learn that they never really, Vern, and Teddy, at least, never really engaged much again after that with Chris and Gordy, and that's a real kind of shocking. When I saw this, for the first time, I thought, Oh, that's very interesting. I think why did that happen? But I was more kind of saddened by this. But actually, it's kind of very very true. Actually growing up, this does happen. This really really does happen. Certain people, completely just sometimes it can just be just like that. Certain friends can kind of drift away, and other friends you kind of keep in contact with. Of course, Chris and Gordy, we learn they kind of stayed, friends throughout their school and for college as well, and then of course Chris became a lawyer, and then of course very tragically as well, we learn that he of course tried to break up this kind of fight and got killed in the process. And wow, such a tragic, powerful, emotional moment when we learn that, of course. The final a couple of lines, of course, by Gordy, of course, saying that it had been, more than 10 years since he saw Chris, but, he's still, he'll miss him forever. And that's a very, very powerful line. And just the outcome of this, these four friends, they're not four friends, kind of forever in that sense altogether, but they kind of are, in memory of just this time, for example, for Vern, Teddy, with these other two characters, but as well, the fact that Chris, was friends for a lot longer, with Gordy, but of course, learning that he dies, as well, in that way is very very tragic, very very. This way of the kind of unfair feeling, how could this happen? But again, just the honesty and the way in which it's very very true to life. This film, so much more than I kind of see this more and more every time I watch this. It's so authentic and so so true to life. For a variety of reasons. I think, and just the way the thing that always gets me is this kind of final fading of Chris, as we learn, as the kind of narration is, that he didn't make it, he got killed, and that fading of his character, he kind of just disappears very very slowly there, as that is kind of said, and that is kind of the last shot really of of the kind of the extended flashback, which is of course the majority of the film, and then of course we cut back to cut ahead to 1985, to a character of Gordy, as being 38, in that moment in time, and of course just seeing that moment, and that leading into the kind of ending scene, is so perfect. This is an absolute masterpiece of cinema. This is cinematic perfection. It's a staggering work. In every single story beat. So many themes in this. It may appear maybe at first as well as a simple tale, one that you can relate to and you can love. But there's more and more I see in this every time I watch this film. So many different themes, of course, just of inspiring nature, and as well tragic and kind of final feelings as well to different characters, of course, and the way in which Denny has also kind of passed away as well in the film. And of course we have these scenes where you see him, these small scenes where you see him interacting with Gordy. Actually the kind of the friendship, the brothership they had, the kind of this warmth. This is so powerful and very very moving. It's absolutely. This really brought me to tears once again. Seeing this, it's such a kind of sad thought, to kind of lose an older brother, and the way in which this is captured, it's mythic. It really, really is. There's a whole kind of there is a simplicity to this film. There is of course complexities, but there's also this kind of aura this film has. Of course it could be the warm cinematography, the kind of nostalgic look and feel and sound of the film as well. The music and stuff, but it's a bit more than that. It's kind of this this thing I can't quite describe about the film. This mythic and kind of magical feeling it has. It's part of the DNA, and it's just this shroud of just this this feeling I get from this film, and very undescribable this film, in that regard. But we'll leave that sense of wonder to it. Maybe I can't quite yet, at least, or maybe I'll never be able to describe fully what this kind of mystic feeling is. This mythical kind of feeling this film has, this kind of magic it has as well elsewhere, but kind of just we live and breathe these characters, but we have this thing in the background that lingers, this kind of aura, and it's very, very, very spiritual. This film indeed, and just wow, the characters, the also the other characters, not just these four characters. We also have the father as well, and stuff of of Gordy, and the kind of the lack of respect he has, and the way he doesn't fully accept Gordy, and Gordy's also kind of trying to kind of live up in a sense to his brother, older brother, of course, of Denny, and expectations here that parents have, and also expectations the children have, of course, and growing up as well, in how that can kind of or the way we view things can kind of change or develop, and kind of yes, there's such a way in which this is captured, and this is kind of kind of suggested. I feel, and all these different themes they're in this film. Family in a sense as well, broken families, and perhaps in some instances, maybe with Teddy, how sometimes families, or members of the family, fathers, or this kind of thing can really negatively impact potentially the future of of their children. Of course, Teddy, he kind of goes into a lot of trouble. We learn, of course, once he goes out of it, and he'd been in and out of prison and stuff like this, and just very, very sad, very, very tragic, of course, and it's all about this whole kind of way in which kind of parent choices, or moments, of course, interactions, and relationships can affect us going forward, or not, or if you can kind of find something within yourself, or a friend perhaps, or just brother, and his kind of his his words, and his kind of messages to Gordy, how that can kind of affect him more than those that are kind of with him longer, but just seeing perhaps taking from a friend, someone who isn't part of the family, for example Chris, taking the kind of inspiration from him, and the kind of drive, and the spark of just follow your dreams, and just stay true to yourself, and don't take the criticism, ignore all that, and just kind of stay, keep going, and just keep staying close to what you believe in, and just to kind of overcome different obstacles in life, and this whole mentality, it's kind of, it's brought out, it's ignited, it's kind of awakened, in Gordy, through Chris, through Denny, of course, as well, but it's really maybe the suggestion that it's always kind of there, and it's just other people that could kind of make you realise that. Such a wonderful film. This is a film that I could talk about for a lot longer, but I think it's actually nice to kind of leave certain things up to you viewers as well. It's all personal as well, the kind of way in which we can interpret things. It's all, cinema is subjective, of course, as always, and it's nice to kind of, yes, I've said my thoughts on this, but there's some things, maybe again, there's that kind of mystical thing it has, the kind of mythic quality, the aura it has, that I can't describe, and also some things, it's just nice to kind of leave some things unmentioned, perhaps, and leave that kind of a sense of wonder as well, and just wonderful, wonderful film. This absolutely one of my top 100 films. It's been a pleasure to kind of talk about this one again. It's just such a perfect film for me. Just I believe this to be perfect. The comedy, the drama, the very, very powerful the themes in this film, but also just the way in which it's such an adventurous film, magical experience, this friendship, this warmth, and just seeing the suggestions as well, and the kind of in between, and the epilogue as well, in that sense, the final scene where we see what our protagonist has become in the end, and that is what he aspired to do, and he stuck to this in that sense, which is very, very lovely to see, and just so satisfying. This is one of the most satisfying films in many regards. In other regards, it's kind of very, very tragic. Very, very sad to see, or to learn that certain characters, yes, didn't, have a great outcome in that sense. They didn't make it, in many regards, or they didn't, kind of yes, maybe their lives were cut short too early, of course, and the whole way in which Chris kind of we learn about how he got taken. It's very, very sad indeed, and again, that had me really, really emotional once again. But yes, this entire experience is so magical, it's so powerful, so honest and true, so relatable, of course. So it's so charming, but of course, it's in the end, this whole kind of spiritual, experience, one that kind of as I watch this more, as I watch this more, it kind of means more and more to me, and just becomes, this kind of enhanced viewing experience, and just even more relatable. Looking back to different moments, of course, that maybe you can relate to, you can kind of piece together, or kind of see in your own life, and just yes, I think this is one of the reasons why it's so loved, this film, and so kind of universally praised. Really, it is. I see, and yes, just it's as always, cinema is subjective, but it seems like this one really is. It's a film that crops up, for example, on many favourites, lists, and one that really, I think, really, yes, there isn't much of a negative reaction, and that doesn't, matter really. But it's nice. It's kind of, it makes it very clear that I think most people, can relate to this in some way, and do find this to be a very sincere and honest film, and very, very powerful film, and something that is kind of an essential viewing experience, and certainly a film that I think everyone should watch. Just at least to find out what they think of it, and just to kind of find perhaps any sort of kind of linkage between, or connections between their lives, and of course it really is such a wonderful film, and this is all kind of brought together. That whole kind of feeling, that kind of idea is kind of brought together in the end, where the writer, Gordy, has become this, and he is essentially telling, he has actually told the entire film, and through his actual, his writing as well, and that's what the whole kind of mirroring of this, the whole kind of connection, and the whole all-encompassing experience that this film is perfectly summed up in that final, few moments of the film, and an absolute masterpiece, and one of my absolute favourites, of all time. So my final rating for Stand By Me, it's 100% plus, tier 1. Yes, indeed. Wow. This film truly is one of the most magical, and powerful films of all time. I stand by that, the rating of a tier 1, because yes, it really is one of my top 100 films, and anything really, in my top 100, of course. There's more than that now, a little bit, that get, at least a kind of tier 1 rating, and there's the tier S as well. Not quite there, the tier S, but I must say very, very close, actually, and I think at least one of the kind of the select few, kind of films, there's kind of group of films that maybe are my highest kind of tier 1s, very close perhaps to being the tier S, but I have to draw a line somewhere, and because eventually that rating will just become the former tier 1, and we'll let everyone in there. But I think just very, very close, actually, and it's very much it's pretty high in my top 100, very, very firm. I would never imagine this film leaving my top 100. So there we have it. One of my absolute favourites, in that sense. Relatable, funny, tense, just kind of nostalgic for so many reasons. We've kind of discussed here. For its time capsule kind of feeling, with the music, the location as well, in which kind of portrayed, just the way in which the characters reference different things as well, and just seeing this all tie together so wonderfully, and these bookends in that sense with Richard Dreyfuss, the great Richard Dreyfuss, seeing him as our Gordy, our protagonist of Gordy, kind of growing up, of course, and him looking back, and then eventually him really just wow, this kind of ease and comfort, in just looking back, and actually perhaps writing this out, has kind of allowed him to maybe cope with these events, and to actually understand them, and to view them in a certain way. Knowing his friend Chris, was killed. At the beginning of the film, we look back to this, and actually seeing as well. And then in the end, we have that narration, the fading there, and then of course leading into the ending. There is this kind of sense of comfort. I feel with our protagonist, and the way in which he kind of he just goes off. He takes his son. I think his son's friend as well. On this trip, and they go off and just continue with their lives. And we have the ending there. As I say, when that credits that comes on there, of course, and we hear the song. Fully. Stand by Me. Of course, the wonderful Ben E. King, performing this. This is one of my favourite songs of all time. It always has been since I heard this, when I was younger, and what a perfect way to kind of end the film. Wow, just what a perfect film from start to finish. This is just such a meaningful experience. So honest and true, and as I say, just growing up more and more, every kind of time I watch this film, I see how true it really is, actually, and it really is such a magical film. This so warm and just enjoyable. Of course, the characters are so so relatable, and so deep. The depth to for example Chris and Gordy is really quite something, of course, and just seeing all the different characters having their own kind of purpose as well. Ace being the villain, of course, as well, but Denny is a very, very key character in kind of this whole transformation or realization of Gordy, and this whole kind of way in which, in the end, he does stick to this and kind of chase his dreams, and continues with this, and just this whole kind of way in which the passage of time is portrayed, showing the tragedies, of course, and also showing the kind of wonderful moments of life, and the way in which, of course, especially Gordy, he has made this kind of transition, and he is, in the end, he is what he always wanted to be, and using, of course, his past experiences in writing, and that's a very, very inspiring thing for writers, and just that is usually the case. Kind of drawing on, at least in some way, however kind of true that could be. Drawing on something maybe from your actual experiences in life, and this is of course such a perfect way in which this is portrayed as well. And yes, Stand By Me. We'll wrap up. What do you think of this film? It'd be really, really so wonderful to hear your thoughts. It'd be a pleasure to hear what you think of this film, and maybe your memories of this. And this is what the film is about, of course, memories, and just how this is portrayed is so wonderful, of course. As I say, and of course, as we know, many people love this film. But it'd be great to hear in the comments what you think. You can kind of say as much as you want about this film. Of course, you can go into the characters, the music, of course, all these things. Feel free to leave a comment, as always. And yes, just be really, really lovely to hear your thoughts on this wonderful film for me. And yes, just absolutely stunning. Of course, once again, a wonderful experience, and just left me in I was speechless by the end. Once again, it's a film that I couldn't review on the night, that's for sure. But it's been over a week now, and since I kind of watched this film again, and you just let it mellow in and just soak in, and really, it is a speechless film. The reaction, of course, afterwards is that kind of the gut punch feeling, perhaps, but also the uplifting and spiritual and just enlightening feeling. You kind of get from it. At least I do. Life lessons. Just done in a very, very unique and wonderful way. And yes, Stand By Me, one of the best films of the 80s, and for me the 80s is one of my favourite 3 decades, I must say, actually. So that means a lot. I'd say this is definitely one of the best of the 80s, and it just is. I just think so many wonderful films in this decade. I think it's a underappreciated decade, actually, and this is just one of the many examples of just what wonderful cinema was getting made here, and just it seemed like with ease, but of course it wasn't. But just these filmmakers, wow, just creating these films, with real style here. But with sincerity, with honesty, and yes, just humanity. Such a human film. This is such a spiritual experience, of course. And yes, that is Stand By Me, one of my favourites. What do you think of it? Be great to know. And yes, as always, take care. And yes, thanks for watching.